Hi, I'm Maggie Wojan, and I am a freshman here, a nursing major with a minor in missions. And this is just a little bit of my story. I just want to start by saying that God has been so good to me for the entirety of my life. I've faced many situations that have led me to the goodness of God, yet I didn't quite realize it in the moment. I didn't grow up in a Christian home or an environment, really quite the opposite, actually. I grew up in several homes with lots of adults kind of forcing me to figure out life at a really early age. I often felt alone, trying to find a home. In elementary school, I kind of went to church a few times, like every once in a while. I didn't really know kind of what it was about, but it seemed cool at the time, so I went. But I started to go in 6th grade, and I was like, okay, this is actually really cool. God is kind of cool, I guess. My faith journey really started 2 weeks after I finished the 6th grade when my dad passed away suddenly. It was very quick, but that was a pivotal point in my faith journey. I was reminded kind of not to take those moments or people for granted, and I really began to fall into God, learning about his goodness, which is odd when you're looking at that time in my life where I had been grieving the loss of my dad, but I was like, God is still good in this situation. So I began to see the Lord start to work in my life. I was reminded often of Psalm 34:18, and the psalmist writes, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit," which settled into my situation so well. I then was left with my mom and her spouse, who were not great to me. If I could really sum up my childhood into one word, it would be nightmare. Yet God was walking with me through it all. God never took these circumstances from me, nor took the pain of life away, but God has been a source of hope and comfort throughout my life. As my faith journey kind of developed, 2 Corinthians 12:8-9 fell on my spirit. And it says, 3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me, but he said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me." I've cried out a few more than 3 times, "God, why are you not taking this situation?" But he never left me to deal with it on my own. He was always right next to me. He surrounded my life with grace, and he was good to me. He provided people and resources that helped me kind of survive until I moved to college. The people that kind of surrounded me were my youth pastor at the time, around my sophomore and junior year. Jake and his wife Bethany really began to pour into my life, and they really mentored me in my relationship with Christ, and still do. They moved back here to Oklahoma City from Colorado, which is where I'm from, and they had mentioned several times to me, like, "Hey, SNU is really cool," and I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And then it became time to start to apply for colleges, and SNU slowly became the top of my list. And so ultimately, God called me here to SNU and is using me in many ways. He has called me into medical missions and will use parts of my story to bless others. God has provided a home for me in him, so if we lean into God's plan for our lives, he will bless you and bless others.